How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about a very interesting topic, theme park lines. And are they becoming obsolete? Theme park lines themselves have been a very interesting topic that a lot of people that is usually overlooked in theme parks. Like right now, especially Universal, they're kind of leading the idea of getting away from theme park lines. We've seen this from Volcano Bay. They're not going to have any lines at all. They're going to have this wristband where you tap onto a certain not sure if it's a station or sensor, something next to the ride. So you take your wristband, you tap it next to the ride, and it gives you a return time on your wristband. With the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon ride, they have just gotten a new system where, again, you go reserve your time at a kiosk or on your phone, and you come back to the ride at a certain time. Now, on the Jimmy Fallon ride, there may still be some waiting once you get up. However, they have entertainment, I believe they have live entertainment. They have a lounge, it's a lounge area, so they have some chairs and couches. They have a bunch of memorabilia from the Tonight Show, so that makes it more enjoyable to stand up there and wait for your time to board the ride. And Universal, I believe, also used this on the Minions ride in Universal Orlando. I remember hearing something about how they were using a similar concept that is going to be going in Volcano Bay, obviously without the wristbands, but you go and reserve a time, and then you come back when the time is right, and you go on to the ride. So the big question is, are theme park lines going to be completely obsolete? How long will it take, or will it even happen where there will never be a line at a theme park again? Will they all eventually switch to this system that uses the wristband? And this is a very subjective answer because we don't know what's going to happen in the next few years. However, I still want to make a video on it because it is a very interesting topic that has been kind of secretly evolving lately, especially with all these different parks starting to implement new ways of lines, experimenting with new ways of raising guest satisfaction. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today in this video. So if you guys have not yet, be sure to subscribe. I know I've had a lack of videos lately on this channel. That's just because I've been sick. It's been a little bit hard for me to talk just because I've had a sore throat and a cough, but I'm better now, so I'll be making a ton more videos, and just be sure to subscribe to this channel, Ultimate Airtime, where I make videos on theme parks and real theme parks. I have another channel called Ultimate Coasters where I make Planet Coaster content, which is a theme park simulator if you don't know, and I make some pretty cool creations there. I have not posted much on that channel yet. That's just because I'm working on a very big project right now. It's a full park recreation, and it will take a long time, so I'm not sure when that's going to be done yet. Probably in the 2 or 3 weeks, so I'll probably have another video on that channel with just a regular roller coaster in the meantime, but be sure to subscribe to both my channels so you're always updated. Ultimate Airtime for real theme park stuff, that's what you're watching right now, and Ultimate Coasters for Planet Coaster stuff. And if you like theme parks, you're probably gonna like both channels, so be sure to subscribe. So back to the topic. So theme park lines, are they becoming obsolete? Are they becoming a thing of the past? Are they becoming outdated? To answer this question, we should probably look at the pros and cons for a theme park getting rid of lines. So let's say, do theme parks themselves want to get rid of lines? Do they like having lines? So there's obviously a very big pro to having no lines in your park, and that's guest satisfaction. People who don't have to wait in as long of lines will obviously be more satisfied with their experience at your park because they're doing less waiting, they're having more time having fun, walking around and interacting with things. Not only that, they will also be able to go buy more merchandise, buy more food. They'll have more time to go across the park and buy different things like that and spend more money. They will enjoy a more complete experience at the park as well without having to stand in as many lines, meaning that they will be able to probably adventure throughout your whole park in one day, which can be good and bad. I'll get to that a little bit later. So they'll see all the aspects of the park, and they will consistently be more entertained instead of being bored in line. So there are cons to having no theme park lines from the perspective of the theme parks. For guests, having no lines is obviously a good idea. It gives them less time bored and they're more satisfied. But for the theme park companies, it does present a bit of an issue. Many theme parks charge different people to skip lines. Universal does this, Knott's Berry Farm and the Cedar Fair chain does this, Six Flags even does this with a different system than they do, but they do use this as well. The only big theme park chain I've really seen that doesn't really do this is Disney, because they have the Fast Pass system. However, for these other parks that do offer these paid skipping lines, like for Universal, you can buy a pass and lets you skip all the lines throughout the day, no matter what. I've been to Busch Gardens Tampa. You can choose from a couple different passes, like one that gives you one line skip for all the rides, or one that gives you unlimited. And the general price for all these, and it varies between the park, but I've seen some that go for around 30 and some that go all the way up to 90 or 100. So the average would be around 50, maybe in the middle. I know Knott's Berry Farm, it's at 60 or 75 or something like that. But my point is, they do make a lot of money from people that buy these passes. Like, let's say that they have 1 million people visit their park in a certain time, and maybe 1% of the people decide to buy that pass. So that's about 10,000 people buying the pass per maybe 1 million. 1% of the people that come to their park buy that. That's a lot of extra revenue they're getting. So let's say, like Knott's Berry Farm, they charge $70 for their pass. They're getting an extra $70,000 in revenue from those extra people. And theme parks, while they bring in a lot of money, sometimes their profits can be slim. So it really depends on what percentage of people are buying the fast passes at the park. But some theme parks will lose revenue from the line skipping passes. Also, this is what I mentioned a little bit earlier, but more people will be able to get more done at your park in a day. And I mentioned that this could be a positive because people will have more complete experience at your park while they're there, but it can also be a negative experience because you want them to visit for as long time as possible. So there's a balance where you don't want the lines to be too long, so they're restricting people from having a good experience at your park. But if you have no lines and have them go, I don't know, be able to go on in your whole park in one day, then guests don't have to come back the next day to go to your park. Theme parks, in interest of them having you buy an extra ticket or having you stay at their resorts, don't want you to be able to get a complete experience at their parks in one day, because that means you will only go to their park one day, and there's not really a point of staying at their hotels and resorts or coming back another time because you've already got everything done. And this is definitely very important in places like Orlando or Southern California, where there are tons of theme parks and people only come for a limited amount of time. Like, if people go to Southern California or Orlando for a week and they want to go to X, Y, and Z theme parks, you're kind of fighting against other theme parks for that amount of time. So instead of having a guest stay one day at your park and only come that one day, you want them to stay more, like 2 days. So I kind of rambled a little bit on that topic. My point is, they want you to stay for a longer period of time. Lowering the time it takes for a guest to have the complete experience at your park could hurt them because they would only have to stay at your park for a less amount of time, which could decrease ticket sales and food and drink sales, respectively, as they're not coming to your park as much. And the last point I made, it's not much of an issue if you have maybe 5 or 6 parks, like if you have 5 parks like Disney, or if you even have 2 or 3 parks like maybe Disneyland or Universal. However, it is still an issue that theme parks, I think, are definitely keeping in mind when they're looking at getting rid of lines. Third, the rest of the park will be very crowded. If there's one thing I hate about theme parks, specifically the ones I've been to that do this the worst, is Knott's Berry Farm and Disneyland. If there's one thing I hate, is being in a crowded area. Because not only were these parks built with very narrow pathways, because the space in Southern California is kind of limited, but it's already crowded as it is with all these people trying to go different directions at one time. If you get rid of the lines, all those people who were standing in line now have to go find other stuff to do while they wait, which puts them back on the normal pathways of the park, which makes it much more crowded, which would, again, lowers guest satisfaction and just decrease the value of the experience of the park. Alright, so those are kind of the pros and cons from a general theme park standpoint. So then why are some of these big theme parks, like Universal, really pushing this concept of not having any lines? That's because they want to be the innovator. When you think about it, the innovator of a certain topic will get the most publicity for it, which is basically free advertising, as I've seen multiple articles talking about Universal's new line-free style of having lines in their park. They're not going to have lines. All these news outlets are starting to report on it a little bit, which gives them advertising that they didn't really have to pay for. It gives them a reputation of trying to make a good guest experience and a reputation of them trying to innovate the theme park market. They're trying to make a different experience, and that's what ultimately what guests are kind of looking for. So the reason I think this is being pushed by some of these bigger companies is it's kind of a race to be the first to offer this new type of theme park experience and the first to do it the best. If one theme park company doesn't do it as good as maybe another theme park company, then they could suffer the consequences I just mentioned with the cons of having no lines, because not enough people will be coming to their park for this new type of experience. So I know this video is kind of a little bit out there, it's a little bit unorganized, I apologize for that, but my points really are is that there are definitely pros and cons to having lines at theme parks and not having lines at theme parks, for the theme park company's perspective, for someone who owns a theme park. So the key for it being successful is being able to do it the best, being the first to do it, and getting the word out there about what you're doing with your park and what these theme parks are doing, getting rid of lines at their park. That's the key for it to being successful. So back to the question, will ride lines eventually vanish? Will they become obsolete? I don't think they will ever disappear entirely, because no matter what, no matter how many people, no matter what type of system you use, there will always be some sort of waiting before getting on a ride. It's almost impossible to be able to get a ride with no wait at all. So this is not really getting rid of the wait, it's getting rid of the lines. And even once you scan something, or even once you come back for your return time, you will still have to stand in a small line. Of course, a lot better than you would have had to do, but you will still stand in a small line. However, I don't think it will ever disappear completely, because for other amusement park chains like maybe Six Flags and Cedar Fair, they're not necessarily trying to compete for this experience that Universal and Disney are going for. Universal and Disney are trying to be, these are kind of the big players in the theme park market. They're really trying to offer unique, enjoyable, and new experience to people that you can't really find anywhere else. Cedar Fair and Six Flags, these lower end amusement park chains compared to obviously to Disney and Universal, but these kind of lower end theme park chains, they're not trying to put this new technology into their parks, because they're just offering the classic theme or amusement park experience with rides. So I don't see it ever extending to all amusement parks and theme parks. However, I do think in the future we will eventually see more and more. It will definitely increase in theme parks switching to this system. I don't think they'll ever completely disappear, just because there's a lot of cons for certain theme parks and amusement parks to getting rid of them. However, I do think we will see a lot of theme parks make the switch because of publicity, to be innovative in their parks and offer a different experience that's hard to find for guests anywhere else. And that's where we're going to leave this video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to both my channels, links on the screen now. Check out some of these other videos. If you like theme parks, you'll definitely like some of these other videos, I'm sure, since all these videos are on theme parks and roller coasters. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to both my channels here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.